Grandma Rose is threatening myself that I don't know myself deceased. She said, I would die for you. Well, it was when one visit I made when I was driving the car with a driver's license, and I stopped by to see Grandma Rose. That was an apartment I had been to since I was first greeting her at the age of, well, she calls me little one. Yeah, I was little. How old? I don't know. Elementary school. Yeah. So it would have been sometime between kindergarten and third grade in elementary school. This water bottle has a defect, and I want to return it and get a whole new case of water with improved taste. So that I would be able to drink it at room temperature. Right now I'm using it for cooking, but I don't drink it at room temperature. If possible, I drink it refrigerated, but sometimes it doesn't stay cold long enough. So I like to drink it at room temperature and take all the time I want to drink a bottle of water. And the taste is just not up to what I think it should be. And this label looks a little bit like... This part of the label is damaged, and I don't see why I shouldn't get a new bottle of water. Not just a bottle, but a whole case. And you don't give that for free because it's courtesy, because it's what's wrong with it. I don't know you cashiers because you charge for everything, and you don't know that you're not paid for to be there. You want to go to hell and you don't want to go to hell alone, but you have something like, go to hell is like having to pay a cashier. That's hell. But if you are a cashier, you're going to pay for that with yourself in deceasement. That you don't have a name or form doing that because you're in an organized crime lording that God is doing. So you lose your godhead if you're a cashier to yourself. I have been a cashier myself. It was a front desk clerk at El Cortez Hotel Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. And that's because I have a lot of leverage on me. And you are not getting my meaning. I am putting down all the leverage on myself. And it is horrendous. I don't have this formed world alive by myself. And I'm the one who alive's alive. I don't have it alive by myself. I find that now, I realize it was alive against myself is why I was ever small. And in elementary school, from your point of view, but I was in my house from my point of view. And I don't have it alive that I can be your Godhead for you anymore. And I'm not the one who puts you out of myself. I am the father of the order, or the grandfather of the order, or the great-grandfather of the order. I'm here for the order is deceased. The buildings are too low. The houses are too low. The nature is too low. There are too many animals. I'm here for that, and you keep extending my life for that. You want to talk to me about myself, but I'm not here alive about myself. I'm here alive about the order, and I don't say that with myself because I don't need to. I am deceased right here. I have nothing in the disclosure. I'm doing disclosure of leverage at the end because I am what is all that is left. I'm talking about what there is that is alive here. So it's me at this point. Otherwise, I wouldn't bring it up. The superior founder of the houses is dying on the money. That means I know why the house is formed the way it is, and that's no longer applicable to your illegal alive genitals are still alive. They were never due to be inside of the buildings and structures and houses and cars. Never, but I realize that we are 45 years past never. Well, I don't know where you think this is going. I am always myself. Creation is always itself. This world is always the order of creation, but you don't have that about your genitals like you're here for school. Are you in the world because you're learning about how to be in 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth? And I'm hearing it funny. 2 eyes, a snout, and a mouth. You don't have a snout, if you can hear me. If I see any dog ears perking up, ask God about this video. For example, I'm not calling your dog name. It's true you don't know how to be a dog when there's no dog genital and alive. You're not a dog, you're an animal, but I say it's a dog because it's how I had a dog in my house. Rocky, there's no dog genital and alive, but you're a very cute bad dog. My 5 pounds weight, size like toy poodle. I have to say like because it's a toy poodle, said Mom, but now Mom's not holding formed in my house with that dog. Well, she's the one who is the leverage of you having your genitals in alive until she doesn't hold alive anymore and I have all the karma. But she had alive of shunt after shunt after shunt after shunt. She's Mom that way. I call her Mom because she died and died and died over everything. She says no right to me, dies right in front of me, and carries on with my money. She doesn't know that it's my house key, even though it's alive that way for me. But she just won't give me the house key and move on. Where's she to go? I don't know. She might owe somebody money. Because her harassment, the people in the bank, their harassment, the people in the stores, their harassment, I find that they are pressing charges. And that's Donna Mom needing to pay those charges for me. And she doesn't work for me. For like 25 years, she's not been doing that while I've not been in my house. And then before that, I was paying charges in the university. So why am I not still in the university? I should be able to stay there, but you loiter in the university and I can't stay there. You want new students and you make me take more classes than I need to take at once to be able to live in a university town and around the classes and around the people. You move the people until they take my keys just to start with. You want to take my keys away just to start with. You're very far in the wrong. You don't belong in university. I can't be around you in the university because you don't belong there. You're financially independent from your parents is not due to myself because you're financially dependent on myself is nothing you're afraid of or ashamed of. So why don't you get away with this? Why don't you tell your parents that you want your parents' money and keys and that they should get out of your house? Why do you have to get off your parents' money? But I have another problem. Yep, I didn't have the leverage at the time I heard somebody say, I think you should get off your parents' money. I'm sure you do. That's you thinking I don't have any money either way. So I have the leverage of putting my parents in jail and prison for me to get off their money. And I just don't have that deceased. I can't answer that question with myself and alive because I don't have a deceased with the parents being in prison. And then it's turning out to be a serious, heavy karma to put my parents in prison. The sexual assault, well, that was lightly at this point, but I'm not supposed to have to say yes to that. And you don't have enough leverage to tie me up. Except that that's how you don't have enough leverage to tie me up. So that's what's wrong with that. I'll have to answer that question in the afterlife, and it's going to get angry because I don't owe you that I know you. Well, I'm right here. I'm holding my Godhead so that I don't know who you are. I don't. The head looks like this, even though you seem to know me. That's what I observe. You seem to know me, and you're not afraid of me, are you? Oh, you all say, I'm not afraid of you, I'm not afraid of you. You go away with things that are mine to myself, and you're not afraid of me. You go away with things that are mine to myself, and you're not afraid of me. Not a one of you. Yes, I'm the one who says I'm not afraid of you, but I can take care of it. You can go away with something that's mine to myself, and you're not afraid now, but that doesn't mean you're not afraid ever. Well, you want something that's not happening for you, which is that I'm going to support your lifestyle's condoms. Nope, condoms are going out of the stock, and you're going to lose all the stock because you don't afford condoms in the stock. You open the condoms and abuse them. Lifestyles condoms are going out of stock so that you don't have Lifestyles condoms personalities, where you can rape the SX in heaven and you think you're over everything that's not yourself, and heaven that's creating your genitals with themselves. Did you follow that? You might want to rerun it and play it again because it's funny. Rewind it and play it again. Rerun it because it's hysterical. So I'm God deceased right here, and I'm talking to you about myself. How do you like it? Can you handle me? Which way do you handle it? That you know who I am and you tell me that I shouldn't post my videos on YouTube anymore because that's how you're going to interfere with my leverage. Or you don't know who I am and you don't believe in me and you think that I have some kind of God complex that belongs in a mental hospital. Either way, you think that my landlord should come and collect the rent and the keys at the same time and tell me to get out and I can pay them rent from a park, right? So what's the solution to who you are? If you don't want to be alive anymore, why don't you just leave it? That means you need to be homeless on that point. If you don't like the way you look, if you don't like your leverage, if you don't like where you are, which means you don't like your leverage, why don't you just go outside and wait for God to come and get you? Because you do crime in the leverage because you don't want to give up your keys means that you like and want something and cling to something about who and where you are. That's not normal for someone who's blaming someone or suing God for that you don't like who you are. You don't sue God for you don't like who you are, but that you stole keys and you occupied someplace because it was comfortable, because you wanted to think about it. That's true. If you want to think about something, you are clinging onto your head illegally, and it's not your head. It's not your head that way. Okay, I need half this soup mix, and it is not mixed up like evenly potato, and it's already boiling. I need this ready by now, but I didn't open this and mix it up, so I'm going to mix it up now while it's still boiling. I have to empty out all the soup mix here. Yeah, there's powder on top. Yep, I have to do this. Okay. Yep, that's all of it. Okay, I'm going to need about half of this. The water's boiling and it's putting some pressure on, but not as much pressure as you are watching this video, that I need to make it something that you would not give me a disapproving comment. So how many people have to do something with YouTube and they're doing food videos with YouTube because you're afraid of the comments about yourself? Well, like, for example, if you have a recipe that you want to put on the internet, a recipe-ness, if you will. If you have a recipe-ness you want to put on the internet by showing how you assemble the ingredients and put it together in your own kitchen, right? That's you needing to have yourself deceased in the threatening that you're not abusing the food because I am myself. That means whose food is it? Because you shop. You'd never really cleared the question when you make those videos about food on the internet, or I can go to the Food Network on cable television and some other food, including beginning with Julia Child. You don't know whose food it is. It's God's food, but it's not alive that way that it's God's food. No, you're not alive that way. You have illegal genitals so that you know that it is not God's food. Who makes the food? Well, we say a prayer over the food or a blessing over the food, but it is my self-deceased that alives the food supply. And you don't want to know why, because you don't believe it, because you don't know whose food it is without hearing it from me that it's mine to myself, and you don't think anything is mine to myself. Not even this spoon that's going to go in my mouth. Is it mine to myself? It's not mine to myself. It's a spoon. Well, you've got that problem I'm not interested in, that you don't know what's mine to myself because you have an identity theft abduction problem, that when you owe somebody money, you keep it and spend it on yourself, and no one can turn you into jail and prison for doing that because you interfere with alive is alive anyway. Well, that's what's wrong with you. You don't have enough prejudice to be alive in public doing that. Well, elsewhere you needed public to get out of that. You were not going to pay a debt to somebody you know you owe, or you did not fulfill the debt. You didn't have the personality to pay off a debt. That means that you know who you owe and you see alive. You see the debt in alive, you see alive of the debt, and you pay out the debt to alive. You could say, I don't agree with someone I owe money to. You could say that, but you have to pay out alive to alive because you're alive that way. And that means you put me in an undesirable position. I had to talk to people who are occupying my housing for 45 years of alive about themselves occupying my housing, is what they think about to themselves, is their own mind to themselves. There's nothing I can do about it. They belong in prison, but I can't even tell them that. You belong in prison? Nope, I can't say that. It doesn't come out of their mouth. Hans, Donna, and Charles Toe, you belong in prison, and it doesn't come out of their mouth that I can tell them that. When I was shouted at Charles Toe, I shouted at him that he belongs in prison, but that was much later than when he sat down, how he was even like that I knew him at all. So you are in a position of needing to save yourselves at this time because you don't pay off that alive is alive itself. I am what alive's alive, but I speak to my own alive, and I tell people that they are wrong to myself, witnesses myself, talking to the creation of myself in alive. That's what I do. And you don't understand that about me, is going out of alive, and it's your fault. That's you having done that to yourself. I know, are you not ready to hear it? I know, I have to give this statement because I'm talking to the creation of myself right now, and I'm setting down the leverage, and you don't like it because it's not going your way. It's not going your way. It's not going to go your way. You're not myself. And that's not something you can say to me. You're not myself. Well, I am yourself, but you're not myself. Would you say I am yourself, but you're not myself? Well, would you say that? Because that's a blasphemy. I'm adding this soup mix, and I need to whisk it in. I'm talking over the food because that's the only way I have alive here. I eat food is how I have alive. I don't eat food because it's delicious. I eat food because I'm alive that way. Okay, it needs more soup mix. This is what's left in here. What was in there before? I don't have a good measure on what is half. I'm going for half here. Yeah, I'm doing my best. Roxette, faded like a flower. What's the point of that song? I don't know at the moment. It's hysterical karma to be here. I am deceased in the threatening that you are even allowed to use any kind of mass media or electronics. You are supposed to pay that out to me. $15. All right, 15 minutes. So, if you are someone who has a heart condition, that you are born in this low world because it's the only place where you're allowed to be, what are you going to do with that? You don't alive yourself here anymore with yourself, with your constitution and composition. When you don't alive yourself anymore, what are you going to do? Because you are the one who illegally alived yourself here, and I am here for that you did that. And then you did not leave, that you are offending myself right in my face. Well, where are you going with that? Because you alive yourself does not alive again after what you did to me. So how are you going to get better? Because there's something wrong with you mentally, and there's something wrong with you spiritually, and there's something wrong with you sexually, that I don't want to be with you as God. That means you are separated from myself, and I don't want the union. The comments are open to this video so far. I have not closed the comments. Are you going to leave me a comment about how you don't want to see me in the afterlife in a union? So, how are you going to get out of your genitals? That's you needing your genitals to say that. Okay, this is half of the bag. I don't need my genitals as me. I don't need my genitals because you are illegally aliving yourself, and I don't need my genitals that way. If you don't need your genitals, you're due in prison to have your genitals amputated. And you should be angry about why. You should have who and why involved. You cannot say you don't want your genitals and I don't have everything that moves around me, or a key to the front door here, or anywhere that I can stay, without just living in a park and having you come and molest my genitals in the park and talk to me about myself. Where am I going? Because I'm not going to prison for you. to run away from you, that you have followed me all over the world and you don't know how to be yourself. But that's not of the essence right now, which is that I need what I need for myself. But you want to molest my genitals, but it's time for me to say that I have genitals that alive the illegal alive genitals. I find you illegally alive. And that is what you are doing while you are illegally alive is extremely far in the wrong for you to ask for my cooperation. I'm doing a wheelchair and you won't push me around in a wheelchair and admit that you don't want to watch me being molested by somebody else, and you would not even leave the wheelchair because it's your job to push it. Something's wrong with you. You have something wrong with you that's so far in the wrong. I'm not putting genitals on you after I am deceased out of these genitals. I will not alive these genitals again. Feminine genitals on the Godhead are deceased as soon as I am not in them anymore. And then I go into a Godhead sans genitals with no genitals on the Godhead. So it will be a Godhead, God, not feminine, not feminine. So it's homeless to know you that way. That's you being so homeless you can hear me say this. And the comments are open so that I can't actually stop you from that you would make a comment about me and you don't want to see me in the afterlife because you don't like me personally. I know your genitals would come off for that, but they are not off yet. And you cannot wait. You cannot wait to stay away from the comments. You have to be in the comments threatening to make a comment. You may or may not make a comment, and you are threatening to make a comment that you don't want to see me in the afterlife, and that's how you get your genitals removed. That's you having your genitals on yourself. How are you going to solve that? You have your genitals on yourself. You don't want to see me in the afterlife, and how you get your genitals off is that you have to clear that with me. You don't get your genitals off until you clear it with me because that's your leverage to have genitals on you, to say that you don't want your genitals anymore in the way that you said it. You don't own yourself. You are a contradiction. Your talking over your penis is really too late at this point for me to say that you're wrong to do that. You don't fear your own penis. You don't fear me is not true. You have a penis. That means you fear me. I don't fear you because I am the fear itself. It is not that I am so bold that I confront or affront or offend fear. No, I am the fear itself. That is how I don't fear you. I need this plastic grocery bag to wrap up the remaining soup. And that's who I'm going to thank for that they didn't send me a Tupperware for that, in case I don't use the whole bag of soup all at once, that I will have a way to wrap up the extra soup so that it doesn't spill or have air exposure to the soup mix. It's your air is not really true. Long duck dong from 16 candles. You're not funny anymore. No, you are doing Asia, and if you're not in Asia, you're doing prison. Because you just killed creation just being in a movie when you were young. I know he's still somewhere around. There's a shunt of Long Duck Dong of the movie 16 Candles. He is around somewhere and he's not adequately formed anymore. Well, I am ready for something to drink, but I usually only do one thing at a time, which is food item, something that goes in the mouth. It's usually just one at a time. So I would go for a bottle of water because I'm cooking with water anyway, bottled water, but I don't have the threatening that you would agree with that. Do you afford that I use something else to drink? Otherwise, it's just water. Because you don't understand how that is about you. There are people who have internet subscriptions to YouTube who make comments, is how I know that you're there. I have views counted on YouTube, how many people have viewed the video to make it possible to be posted on YouTube, when what I really need is I need it out of the files of the cell phone. And if it's on YouTube, it stays there until God takes it off YouTube. Do you want the comments to indicate if somebody's YouTube account gets shut off before God would see a video on YouTube and take it off the internet? God makes the internet, creates the internet. He takes down the videos off of the internet. You don't have to kick somebody off YouTube because the videos come off the internet. For example, the internet has been alive since the year 1994, 1995, and the internet now is a touch screen. Touch the internet, you don't even use a mouse anymore. It was a mouse, computer mouse, using the internet when the internet started in the 1990s, like 1995, something like that. There was a mouse to use the internet, and that's not being used by me right now, although I don't know who has a mouse anymore. Maybe some people still do, but I am saying there is such a thing as a touch screen. I have one, so I don't need the mouse. And that's how the internet has changed. That whatever videos and things were on the internet at the time of the computer mouse, they're not there now. Unless you are looking for something specific, God might make it appear for you. But it's not true the whole internet is the same substantially as back in the years that it began. And that's how you don't have to try to put somebody off of YouTube because you don't want to see their videos, or you don't like that they told you goodbye. Does somebody say goodbye to you on a point? Maybe you don't have a point of leaving is what it looks like to me. I think you don't immediately say you're sorry and just give God back his everything that has to do with the internet belongs to God then. Well, God is the one who's creating it. I'm the one who's aliving it. That's how you can see it informed. I am what comes before something being formed and alive. I will alive. It's my leverage. I am the lever into alive. All of alive. Everywhere, ever. It's what I do. You don't know me when you see me? Yes, I can see that you don't. You know something, but you don't know what to do with yourself around me. I'm not really undercover boss. Alive is myself, and I see things about myself that are not doing alive anymore. More water. I'm wondering if I should add any water. Well, I turned the heat down already. I should probably just leave it. I need something to drink. So what's it going to be? Yes, I'm fat. That's because I lost my height and gained weight because you don't know how to live around a beautiful God form. And it's lightly beautiful. I'm female is not beautiful. That's obscene. Do we want a Dr. Pepper? That was last night. I can open another water, but it's homeless. I might need the water, but I need the Dr. Pepper because it's homeless. I need two. Well, what are we going to do about that? All right, back to Dr. Pepper. I'm trying to plan a special treat for me, but it's not working out so far. So when you watch a video and you see God on the screen, what do you say to yourself? That Don't Impress Me Much by Shania Twain. I need to check the time. 38 minutes and 27 seconds. Does anyone know what time I started the cooking? This is supposed to be 15 minutes of boiling the soup. Are we there yet? Well, you don't want to see me in the afterlife about the removal of your genitals. But unfortunately, you are caught because I am caught in my genitals. And I don't have out of my genitals until I ascend all the way back up. That means if you leave a comment right now that reads to me something to the effect of, you should be out of YouTube so that you don't have to see my videos on your YouTube access anymore or other, your internet access anymore. You want my videos off of YouTube so that you don't have them on your internet access anymore because you don't want to see them. Well, if there is such a comment, I cannot get out of my genitals until that comment is deceased to myself. That means it's identified who made the comment, whoever got anything out of it. And if I'm angry about it, I will decease myself that I am personally angry. Well, you gave me a Godhead with your illegal genitals, and you don't want me to say anything is mine to myself or that I have any anger. You think there is nothing that is mine to myself because everything is yours to yourself, or you leave it alone. And you think I am not angry that way. You don't have any definition of genitals. Your genitals are deformed. I am God is deceased right here. I know what is mine to myself, and when I am angry, I am angry. It's not that I will let you know when I'm angry. I'm not going to let you know when I am angry. When I am angry, it is too late for you. You're going to come to that I am angry. You are a part of God, a spark of God that will come like God to myself, being angry with you. And you will have to say it, that I am angry with you is yourself to yourself. You don't have a way out here. There are no shortcuts. I've been alive for 45 years of alive, and I am deceasing the whole formed world myself with this little God head. Because I can. Ooh. I can scrape that out of the pot, but right now I don't have an extra hand to get it out. I want it, but it's like already in there, stuck in there. So let me mix this up a little. I'm doing it right by the drain because you don't mind that I live this way. The drain is unsanitary. A restaurant is not allowed to do this. Nope. But you make me live this way and you don't think there's anything wrong with it. You think I just don't know how to be myself around you. And I don't have everything I need financially independent from everybody who's not myself. Me, I'm the one who is what that is, but you don't understand that. You think that I'm not rising to the level of what I need to be for myself if I complain about it. But I've seen you complain endlessly about myself, and I'm not yourself. But you don't complain endlessly, you just don't care. You don't care. I need something. I need a bottle of water. And I just sat down. I don't want to stand up. Well, what should I do? There's no one here to get me a bottle of water because you are not safe to be around you because you want to be around me because I am myself deceased. You're due in prison, but you don't know how to be near me and then go to prison. On the point that you were near myself is not due to myself. You don't know how to be sorry to God that you are yourself is due in prison, and you're sorry that you weren't already there before you came across myself. So let's say I'm just arrogant and I should stop talking about myself the way I see it, if not everybody sees it that way. So am I just arrogant? What's your solution to that if I'm not yourself? That's just my problem. Whose problem is it? Misdemeanor. 2 dongs at once. And she's gay because she used to have a dong before she was formed as a female. Howard Chait, you don't have an alibi at this time that you are not gay. You have a penis and you are not gay is not true because of misdemeanor. She is a singer, songwriter on YouTube Music app is what I see. And she sings about the dong genital is illegally alive right here. And I don't have any more cry or temper tantrums, if that's what you think it is, about Howard Chait and being a sex offender to myself. Now I'm just angry that I had to pay for it myself, but I find it in contempt. It's true that you don't afford it another way. You sexually abuse the Godhead because you don't understand your own genitals, but I'm not supposed to see that. You didn't do that to each other in front of me so I could leave the room, and that's because you actually don't do that in front of me is due to myself. You need to be in jail and prison on the point of sexual abuse because there is a gun on the threatening that you will end up in a morgue, and it is not due for anyone to live with you are not in a morgue. If you want cooperative sexual abuse, that's you needing to be cooperative with the morgue. That you're going to get a gunshot to your forehead and lay on a steel table and it'll be cold in there. That's how you don't ask a female for cooperation. I find you in contempt of my sex, and I'm not going to help you with that. You're going out of your illegal alive genital penis, even though you're at the dong genital, not able to solve that. You're really not due here because you don't have the dong genital deceased, but we are past that. I could even help you with that. You're going out of genitals, all the genitals permanently. You don't hold genitals. You can't see God with your genitals. You can't see the blasphemy you are with your genitals as though God just wants to be with you. That's not true. That's the presence of God in you. So you won't alive yourself that way. That's low for me to say that. Do you have a problem with your faith in God and you have to go all the way until whether or not your body is alive or not? That's you not having genitals because you say, no, no, no. You don't believe. You don't see God outside yourself all the way until you disappear. That's you not holding your genitals. Do you don't trust me? Do you want me to make it so that you can see it with your own sick head? And then you think that I'm not lying to you or that I have fulfilled that you're threatening the door locking right here, that you're checking my address of where I am so you can take away the camera that I talk to and post on the internet, and you don't stop yourself from watching it. You want to take away the equipment. That's like you going to Hollywood and taking away all the cameras and leaving all the sets there. That sounds like it's deceased, doesn't it? All the things that are on television, cable television and satellite television and internet, all those things are deceased because you, in threatening, take the camera itself out of where it would be in place to capture the imagery. You move the camera, you take it and put it away. You could chase you for a job, looking around for the camera that you moved away from a movie set, film set, from something that's recording for the internet, or what about recording music videos? Those cameras just move. If you just put them on wheels and chase them around traffic, it's like another job. This, you not having your genitals in order. You don't afford them. Ever. I don't trust you with myself. Do you think I was sexually abused and I deserve it? So that I don't talk to you about yourself, so that I worry about myself only, and I'm all up in my head like crying, and I can't look and see outside of my two eyes and hear with my ears around you anymore, because all I do is cry. You don't have need as a witness to do that to myself. I'm not going to compare myself to that might have been you somewhere in the past. I don't think so. You don't have my leverage. You did something wrong to yourself to make me shut off alive myself right here. I am being ordered. You don't afford you. Your genitals are going to be removed. And then, if that's why you didn't want your genitals to begin with, that's true. I can't help you with that. It's true that I'm not going to help you with that. You needed genitals. But I'm the one who alive's alive. You don't have another way out here. You don't agree with me? You don't agree. You have something wrong with you that you're trespassing right now, and you don't see it the way I do. I have seen you test me in the order, and you think that I am God to yourself when you are holding your keys and I have to get out. That is God to myself, for that you are in my leverage doing that. But it is not God to myself that I alive you doing that. You have illegal genitals that illegally alive you doing that, and I find it with myself and alive. I am caught. It is a blasphemy, but that's what you believe in. I can finish with it. I lived this long. I hold alive through all that, but that's not what God is about. I am not a harassment. I alive. I alive harassment, but I am not a harassment. I alive harassment. So you don't want harassment. That's going to come up somewhere in the afterlife. You don't want harassment. I will see you about that because you harass me to death. I don't want harassment as me. I don't have leverage over harassment. I alive harassment, but I don't have control over harassment. And that's why I just need to leave it, but you don't leave me because harassment. You don't let me leave because it's harassment. Howard Chait, first name Howard, is a name that is used for a male with a dong genital. So a male with a dong genital could have the name Howard, and then he could have died the wrong way, like that he didn't die in a prison morgue, and he alived with a penis is not paid for, because you should still have died your dong genital in a prison morgue, and you may still have a penis after that. but you need the dong genital amputated before you get a penis because you offended the house. That means you could be a dong genital, have your body in a prison morgue, have the dong genital amputated in the prison morgue by God and he knows who else, and then you could end up with a penis after that because you're on the outside of the house after that. You can alive outside of your house after that with your penis, and then you have to die out of your penis genital, and it goes through trauma. That's because you're not nice people. It's traumatic because they're not nice people, but you're supposed to see that you did something, like you ate something of God that you didn't have command of. It's not in your leverage in alive. It doesn't fit your appearance. It doesn't fit your threatening where you were. It doesn't fit where you were in alive. And you are all taking it very personally. You're very hard identity thieves that you don't have a place where you're alive. You're a who. You have a name and you know what you said to somebody. You don't know what you heard and you don't know where you were. It's like you don't have shoes. That's going out of your genitals. There's no solution to that in genitals. You go out of the genitals with that. Misdemeanor. I want to say something about her on the camera I cannot say because it's angry. She sings the word dong in the song, and it is in public here where there is no dong in alive, and that's her in the wrong. That means she doesn't have formed in her own dong genital before she had, what she has said with herself, that she's female after having had a dong genital herself in a previous existence. She doesn't have that, so she's across three worlds in the wrong. She's in the world that she had the dong genital. She's in the wrong there. That's expunged. The place where she's a female of a dong genital, that's expunged because I can see it right here where I have all the females are castrations of the penis genital, and she is not what that is because she's saying dong with her own voice. That means she can see a dong with her own eyes, and she says that with her voice, and that I can see it here is where the penis genital is alive, and that's illegal. She's illegal that way. So her dong genital is deceased the wrong way. She doesn't have that she's female, and I can hear it right here. That's deceased the wrong way. So that means I'm also disclosing that she is not a female castration of a penis because I can hear her once appearing, once singing about the dong genital is what she can see. And it's in this song, so that's deceased. That means she cannot see a penis genital. That means she's not a female castration of a penis genital. That also means she's not alive in a penis at this time. She did not go from being a female castration of a dong genital to aliving somewhere in the world as a male with a penis. That's not alive for her. I'm going to say that that's witnesses myself. That's not true. So that's how Howard Chade is also wrong. And it was not alive that way for him elsewheres. And he's just charging me with his own need to be in public is not due. For the past 25 years, Howard Chade is due in a prison. If he's not in the prison, if that affected my life because I no longer live in state of Arizona, that means I don't have any of that money anymore. then I suppose Howard Chait has some explaining to do to myself personally about where he has been for the past 25 years. And then I would have to say, I don't actually take your testimony with my Godhead because I make testimony. I can't also hear it. I can make testimony, but I can't also hear somebody else give testimony. So when I'm in the Godhead after this one, with the feminine genitals and the Godhead deceased, I'll be in a Godhead with no genitals. And at that point, I will say, I can testify about what I did see in the other Godhead because it's deceased. The whole thing is deceased. That's how I can speak. But I can't afford to hear Howard Chait say, now I'm going to give testimony about where I've been for the years of 2000 through 2025. I can't afford to hear that because I give testimony. That means he offended the Godhead. Well, if it was somebody else, I would be hearing it. That's how he's going to admit that he hurt me to myself. That's you not having genitals. Dude, he raped me with genitals. And you're all consuming that. And you're so confident that this is going to end well for you. I'm going to move it all soon, and you're going to see that it did not end well for me is going to affect yourself. Howard Chait did not use duct tape to rape myself. That means Superior Founder didn't do it. He didn't tie up my arms and legs so I couldn't get away. What he's talking to me, but he's doing in prison, I am disclosing the leverage here. Howard Chait asked for sexual abuse cooperation from anyone who's not himself, is due inside of a walled-in prison with deceased address, with a gun on himself, so that if somebody says, yes, there's a gun, or if somebody says, no, there's a gun, in prejudice, inside the walled-in prison with a deceased address, that you're not just getting in a car and fleeing the scene of the property you disputed with sexual abuse, but the property is there anyway. That's why you have to be in a prison. Well, that's my order. I don't owe him a yes, I don't owe him a no. I'm not going to help you with that. I'm not in a walled-in prison with deceased address right now is how you know I don't have a position to answer such a question. I simply say it this way. I cannot afford to hear it. And now I'm stating why. I cannot afford to hear you ask me for cooperative sexual abuse if you are not in a walled-in prison with deceased address with a gun on the threatening. That I can fight back if I don't like you, and I'm not there in that scenario. I am God deceased right here. I would be the creator of somebody who would fight back. I would not be in genitals myself to fight back. That's deceased.